As you likely already know, The Sims is a franchise all about making unique people and controlling their lives, whether that's by building up their skills so that they can live out their dreams of being a rocket scientist, carefully developing or destroying their relationships with other Sims, or by building a pool, making them go into the pool, and then building walls around it so they drown. It's The Sims. The Sims 4, as the most recent installment in the series, despite having been released all the way back in 2014, is no departure from this basic premise. As you might expect, it boasts a robust and nuanced character creator. So you can make yourself and your friends, or your enemies depending on how you treat your Sims, or if you're me, you can make dozens of Life is Strange characters, put them in a house together, and make them kiss. Again, it's The Sims. The character creator for The Sims 4 is a veritable sandbox of tools for the avid character creation enthusiast, i.e. me, with a wide range of presets to choose from, as well as the means to manipulate individual facial features that are rendered so minute on the actual sim during gameplay that you might as well not have bothered spending an hour making sure their nose sticks out exactly the right amount. With hundreds of hairstyle, makeup, and clothing options to choose from, as well as numerous sliders for adjusting facial details and body shape, there is no question that the Sims 4 character creation tool is deep as hell. But is it gender? Let's take a look. Now, before we dive into specifics, it should be noted that The Sims 4, despite being a pretty old game at this point, is perpetually growing and evolving, with new updates happening every few months. This is actually my second time recording this video because major updates occurred after my first recording, which rendered the original script obsolete. My observations and opinions about the game and its character creation toolkit are based on its current iteration as of this recording date on December 1st, 2023. The Sims 4 allows for more flexibility in this regard than most games I've encountered, especially with the addition of custom pronouns and some newer character customization features. It does lose some points here because the base body you have to choose from as your starting point is still divided into a male and female binary, which dictates your default body type and things like whether you're able to go completely shirtless. And once you've created your sim, you cannot change this. And you can't change your Sim's voice either. The Sims 4 pulls back some points with some of the more nuanced options that have been added in recent years in the Customize/More Details menu. For example, you can now choose whether your Sim has the ability to get pregnant or impregnate other Sims, pee standing up, and so forth. These options are available to your Sim regardless of whether they have a male or female base. More recent updates have added even more customization, including top surgery scars and hysterectomy scars. At first, these were only available to be added to newly made Sims and could not be added to existing Sims, which was really heartbreaking for me. Because A, that's not how scars really work, and B, I adore my little Sim self and was really excited about the prospect of giving them top surgery scars so that they might better reflect how I might look someday. So I am ecstatic to report that in even more recent updates, seriously, this game updates constantly, this has been fixed. My Sim now has top surgery scars, and I love that for them. Scar options are still not perfect. For instance, you can't have top surgery scars and a hysterectomy scar on the same Sim, which is annoying since, again, that's not how scars work. Plenty of people can and do have both scars in real life. Plus, there are other custom skin details that you can layer, so clearly this technology is not out of reach for this game. But since The Sims 4 updates constantly and has been becoming more and more gender with each new update, I'm hopeful that this too will be fixed eventually. And in even more recent updates, I'm really not kidding about this game updating constantly. You do not want to know how many times I have had to revise this script in order to try to keep pace with the changes. The Sims 4 has added yet another way to customize your Sim's body as long as your Sim is a teen or older, which makes sense since the body types for male and female Sims younger than teens aren't differentiated. Although you still have to choose between male and female when creating a sim, you now can also choose in that Customize More Details menu whether your sim's physical frame is masculine or feminine. Now, this changes a few things. Many of them are simply default settings, which you can easily change, such as whether your sim is broader in the hips or in the shoulders. You can absolutely go in and tweak these things regardless of your sim's default body settings by adjusting sliders to your liking. It should also be noted that this masculine or feminine physical frame setting doesn't impact your sim's ability to go shirtless. If your sim has a male body and a feminine physical frame, they will be able to go completely shirtless and will only be pixelated from the waist down when naked. Whereas if your sim has a female body, they will always be wearing a bra at their base layer and will be pixelated from the shoulders down when naked, regardless of whether their physical frame is masculine or feminine. It's possible that there may be a hint of a crotch bulge when you have a masculine physical frame on a female sim, but it's hard to say for sure, and it probably doesn't pay to look that closely at a sim's crotch anyway. The biggest change that I observe between the masculine and feminine physical frames is that this option changes the face shapes that are available to you. On the one hand, I absolutely love that you can now create visibly AFAB trans masc sims, visibly AMAB trans femme sims, and so forth. On the other hand, why can't we just open up all of those face shape options to be available to any sim, regardless of whether they're male or female, masculine or feminine? Who knows? Maybe in the next update. I'll keep my fingers crossed. The Sims 4 is so close to being great here. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's gender because it does allow you to use custom pronouns, and you can assign whatever pronouns you want regardless of whether your sim is male or female. I also love that, unlike your sim's base body, you can change the pronouns for existing sims as well as newly created sims. But I'm taking points away because, although I haven't observed it recently, and am hopeful that these wrinkles in the code have been ironed out in recent updates, I have found that pronouns aren't always used consistently and appropriately. That means that although my sim uses they, them, as I do in real life, they have been repeatedly misgendered as he, him, because their base body is male. Since there's no neutral base body, and you have to choose between male and female when creating your sim, this can create a major misgendering problem. The code needs to be consistently pulling the pronouns from your sim's selected pronouns, not from the selected base body. Again, I haven't seen this happen recently, so maybe this is a problem that's already been fixed. I really hope so, because I don't enjoy being misgendered in real life, and I don't enjoy it in video games either. Even though I haven't seen that recently, I'm hesitant to give The Sims 4 full marks here for two reasons. One, the fact that I haven't seen it lately doesn't mean that it isn't still happening, and two, The Sims 4 doesn't seem to have a grasp on how to properly use they/them pronouns. This can probably be resolved by entering them in as custom pronouns, which enables you to choose how the pronouns are conjugated, but the default grammar used for they/them is not right. Looking at recent patch notes for The Sims, it does appear that pronoun issues are actively being worked on, as the October 31st notes indicate that in the English version of the game, custom pronouns will be correctly reflected in the odd job freelance career. Here's hoping they continue to improve. Options for your Sim's voice are a bit limited, but they can be freely chosen regardless of whether your Sim is male or female. The game loses some points because the voices fall into what I consider to be masculine and feminine archetypes, with no options that sound more neutral to me.
Schlo vagila.
Zaffel, upliva. Messa plimsar pava.
Pena swarbo. Yazi. Ravuda.
This is, of course, all subjective, and my apologies if any of the Sims VAs are non-binary or agender or genderqueer or otherwise trans. It gains back a bit because some pitch modulation is possible.
Lampima Ruskin. Sarpava Chorg. Mitzel Benarla.
Skimbo Chorm. Weasel Bebede.
But really, how fabulous would it be if in The Sims 5 you could have audibly transfemme, transmasc, non-binary, agender, etc. VAs speaking Simlish? I know I personally would be all over that. Let's play dress up. Costuming in The Sims 4 is extremely gender. Although the default is to have the outfits segregated into masculine and feminine categories, all it takes is a simple unclick of the box and you're off to the races, with absolutely no restrictions. Sims of any base body or physical frame can wear literally any outfit, and it is glorious. 5 out of 5. Live your best gender life. Recent updates have made it even simpler for you to choose your clothing defaults for Sims aged teen and up. Under customization/more details, you can now select whether you want masculine or feminine clothing defaults when you go to dress your Sim. The initial default setting is based on whether your Sim is male or female and is not impacted by changing your physical frame. But in this menu, you can essentially choose to have your Sim be butch or femme. And of course, you can still untick a box to access the full array of options in your wardrobe, regardless of any defaults you've set, if you've decided your butch dyke Sim would like to wear a dress today, actually. You can't change your default clothing setting for child and younger Sims because that customize/more details menu doesn't exist for them, which is fine for body types since male and female, child and younger Sims have undifferentiated bodies, but it's disappointing that you can't choose to have your, say, male Sim child have feminine clothing defaults. Still, you can at least untick that masculine box in your young Sim's wardrobe and give them free rein. If this didn't already have a 5, I would give it even more points for having pride clothing options, especially this cute little trans pride shirt that's mixed in with other t-shirt designs that have nothing to do with pride flags. In recent updates, even more gender-affirming clothing options have been added to the game. In true Sims fashion, however, they seem to have been added with very little understanding of how these garments actually function in trans folks' lives. It's awesome that you can have your trans femme Sim wear shapewear, but because of how The Sims 4 does underwear, she'll be wearing it in lieu of pants, skirt, etc. Same problem with binders. Not only do they not actually compress anything if you put them on a female body type of Sim, which I get because none of the clothing really performs its functions, but if you're going to include binders, it seems a bit silly for it to not impact the chest shape at all. Because of how it's categorized, your Sim will be wearing it instead of a shirt, which, again, is not generally how most folks wear binders. I'm wearing a binder right now, but it's under my shirt, because it's a binder. Again, The Sims 4 is extremely, wonderfully, beautifully gender in this regard. Same as with wardrobe, the default setting is for your styling options to be divided into masculine or feminine, but once you uncheck that little box, your Sim is free to wear any makeup, any nail polish, any toenail polish, any hairstyle, you name it. Yes, this means that your female Sim can have a hairy chest, hairy arms and legs, all of it. Except for facial hair. She can't have that for some reason. And again, as with wardrobe, if this didn't already have the highest gender rating, I would give it bonus points for all the cheeky little pride flags hanging out in the nail polish options. My one complaint? Give us matching pride toenail polish, you cowards. Also beards. Let women have beards. Romance is an interesting category in The Sims. Until quite recently, all Sims were essentially pansexual by default. The masculine and feminine categories didn't enter into it at all. Every Sim was potentially interested in every other Sim, regardless of gender. And you can absolutely still play this way. But now there are options to make your Sims exclusively gay, exclusively straight, asexual, aromantic, aro-ace, heterosexual and homo-romantic, and so on. These options are, again, under that Customize/More Details menu, and therefore are only available to Sims aged teen and older. Kids have more important things to concern themselves with anyway. By default, your Sims romantic options are not limited by their gender or by any other Sim's gender. With the addition of the new customization options, you can now impose limitations on your Sim's dating pool, but that's completely up to you. If you leave everything at default, everyone is panromantic and pansexual, and no Sim is going to reject yours on the basis of your Sim's gender. Just their horrible personality flaws. Heck yeah, The Sims 4 is gender. It is very, very, very gender. Could it be more gender? Absolutely. There's always room for improvement. For instance, I would love to see in The Sims 5, which was finally announced to be in production, though that does not appear to have slowed down the pace of updates for The Sims 4, do away with that division between male and female base bodies altogether, or at least expand the options. When you've already got individual sliders for things like shoulder and hip width, cup size, and so forth, what's to stop you from refining that even more and eliminating the need to start with a specifically sexed body? Why not let folks start with a neutral base body, or else have the starting bodies be even more randomized than they currently are? Instead of starting from a distinctly male or female base body, give Simmers the opportunity to start from a more neutral or random point and adjust until their Sim feels right. In this spirit, I would also love for Simmers to have the ability to create female Sims who are breast-free. Not all women have breasts, and this includes cis women. Right now, you can't give top surgery scars to female Sims. At the very least, it would be great to see female Sims be given the option of top surgery scars and a flat chest. I'd also love to have nipple-free options, since this is not only a popular option for transmasc and non-binary folks who've had gender-affirming top surgery, it's also sometimes a necessity for breast cancer survivors of all genders. I would also love to see, right here, right now, in The Sims 4, the pronouns get sorted out. Make sure the game is consistently pulling the pronouns from the actual selected pronouns and not from the body type. And also make sure that the singular they is being used properly. What do you think? Are there things in The Sims 4 that could be more gender? What changes would you like to see in The Sims 5? And are there any games with character creation toolkits that you think are particularly gender or particularly ungender? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more extremely gender content, including gaming streams, frequently with my partner and our cats, drawing streams, and more. In the meantime, I'm going to be making all of the Life is Strange characters be roommates in The Sims 4. Oh my god, they were roommates.